Welcome to another episode of Follow the Brand TV. I am your host, Grant McGaugh, CEO of 5-Star BDM, a 5-star personal brand and business development company. I want to take you on a journey through another deep dive into the world of personal branding and business development using compelling personal stories, business conversations, and tips to improve your brand. By listening to the Follow the Brand TV series, you will differentiate yourself from the competition and build trust with prospective clients and employers. You never get a second chance to make a first impression. Make it one that will set you apart, build confidence, and reflect who you are. Building your 5-star personal brand is a great way to improve your skills and knowledge. If you have any questions for me or any of my guests, please email me at grant.mcgaugh@5starbdm.com. Now, let's begin with our next episode on the Follow the Brand TV.
Five-Star BDM, Brand Development Masters, is a professional consulting and advisory group keenly focused on business development services for the small to mid-sized business and entrepreneurs. Although every business is unique, they often share business development challenges that can be addressed through smart branding. Services include process improvement and operations, digital strategy and transformation, business intelligence, digital marketing, and personal branding. Our business and personal branding company has helped a number of professionals and organizations to optimize and grow. This results in more business, more opportunities, better reach, positive outcomes. Visit www.5starbdm.com today to learn more.
I'm the CEO and co-founder of AMZ Advisors. I've also co-founded a variety of other businesses, but what my company does is it helps brands scale from 1 to 10 million or more on the Amazon platform specifically. Obviously, we do a great job on the work that we're producing for our clients. We try to share that through case studies. We try to increase visibility that way. But from marketing and content marketing is really where we help other people even know we exist.
Welcome, everybody, to the Follow Brand Podcast. This is your host, Grant McGaugh, and I'm going to take you back just a little bit into my world. I started information technology a long time ago, and I remember, the 2000s and before that, and people were talking about e-commerce. This was a big thing. So like AI is now, they weren't really sure exactly how this thing was going to go. People were making these shopping carts, and people were like kind of tiptoeing into it and like, what, give me my credit card. Are you out of your mind? I'm just going to put my credit card into this machine of nowhere land, and somewhere out of the box, something's going to return. And look at now, people, look at now. You got Amazon, one of the largest, richest corporations in the world. You look at companies like eBay and so many others who have just taken off understanding digital commerce and e-commerce and what it really does and how it really works. We're going to talk to someone who's been living in that life and teaching others how to live that life and actually get to that, I call that bag at the end of the rainbow. So, Mike, you like to introduce yourself?
Grant, thank you. And yeah, I'm glad to introduce myself. I'm the CEO and co-founder of AMZ Advisors. I've also co-founded a variety of other businesses, but what my company does is it helps brands scale from 1 to 10 million or more on the Amazon platform specifically.
Amazon, man. Who doesn't work with Amazon these days? I know they really blew up on COVID. I remember when Barnes and Noble was a big thing, and everybody's running to Barnes and Noble, and they said Amazon, you can get books online. You're like, it's nothing.
It changed the game. I mean, I remember I've been selling on Amazon, and so I've kind of seen the entire evolution. I've seen things come and go. I've seen the competition rise on the platform, and it's just no joke. Like if you want to be found, if you sell a product online, there's no better place to be than Amazon.
So let's back that up a little bit on your story. How did you get started in this business? I mean, why did you pick this up? What's your passion around doing e-commerce?
That's a very good question. And kind of going back, we'll start there. Yeah, I graduated university. I went and worked in consulting. I realized I really didn't like consulting. I moved into real estate development, and I moved into real estate development for Sears. And Sears is obviously like the massive retailer that no longer exists. And it was an interesting time. This was back in like 2013. We started seeing the problems already happening. We were focused on how do we raise money. And I joined the company. We raised a real estate investment trust. We sold it off. It was about $2.5 billion that we raised for the company, which you would think would last a while, but unfortunately, Sears burned through it very quickly. And after I did that, I moved into the real estate development side. And in that side, I started focusing on, we have these real estate assets. How do we get more value out of them? What stores are we going to close? What stores are we going to sell off? So it was a variety of different stuff. And it made me realize two things. From an entrepreneurial standpoint, one is that there's no such thing as a safe job. Your job is only as secure as the decision-making capabilities of the leadership of the company. And two, I started seeing interesting deals that were coming through. So Amazon and FedEx and maybe I think it was UPS too, were buying up old malls that Sears had closed stores at. And I was like, why would Amazon want to buy a mall? It makes no sense. Why would FedEx want to buy a mall? I mean, they don't own stores. And what I realized they were doing is they were turning these malls into warehouses. They were turning them into fulfillment centers because they had such a big space already. They had the ports for receiving and shipping out trucks and massive pieces of land for expansion if they needed. But anyway, that's what I realized. And I was like, oh, all right, well, let me learn more about what Amazon's doing. That led to finding out that I could sell books on Amazon. So I started selling ebooks on Amazon. That was where it started. And then from there, I figured out I could sell products on Amazon. So and I could do what's called retail arbitrage. So I went to Walmart, I went to Target, bought everything that was on clearance, turned around, sold it on Amazon, started making money that way. Next step was, hey, I can build my own brand on Amazon. Let me go find a manufacturer in China to produce a product for me, import the product, sold it on Amazon. And that's where we started realizing that brands on Amazon don't know what they're doing. This is back in like 2014, 2015. We were selling art supplies, myself and my two partners in that business. And the biggest art supply company is obviously Crayola. That's the name that comes to everyone's mind. And there were categories where we were competing with Crayola and winning. And I was like, well, that's interesting. They have massive advertising budgets. They should be blowing us out of the water, and we're competing with them. And I was like, okay, these companies don't know what they're doing. And that's where AMZ Advisors came from. It was like, all right, let's help these companies figure out how to leverage the platform. I mean, I can grow my own brand, but I can grow their brands a hell of a lot faster if I have the advertising budget they have. So that's where the idea for the company came from. That's where I started getting into e-commerce. I think, my passion was more of just interest in what was going on and what was growing and what was changing within the world. I mean, back then, people weren't shopping as much online. It was becoming more and more popular, but it was pretty clear that things were going in that route. And I think that's why we kind of myself and my partners kind of made the jump into, let's go full-fledged into e-commerce on Amazon and figure out how to grow and be successful there.
Man, that's a great story and a great learning that you were working and then seeing a trend. It's like, now Sears, who doesn't know Sears Roebuck? I remember growing up, everybody, oh, you buy anything from Sears, it lasts forever. You know, that's what you did. When you bought a major appliance, you went to Sears. That's what you did. It was a big, big thing. And here we are now. No one thinks like that anymore. The retail space is fundamentally changed because of digital platforms and the ease of use, the convenience. And I talk to people like this a lot because a lot of people know I'm in information technology, been so for 25 years. And I tell people, so do you understand why or how Microsoft became the giant company that it did at the time that it developed Windows in the 90s? It wasn't because it developed some whiz-bang operating system that was outperforming IBM. All they did was give it a better interface. And because they gave it a better interface and personal computing wasn't even a thing, who would want to, like, there was a number crunching machine, right? Like, who wants that in their house? Like, they didn't have the vision. You had the vision. You started to understand because you started to see the shrinking footprint of a well-known brand like in Sears, and you start seeing these malls, these empty malls, and then you start seeing someone buying, like, why would they do that? You start, all right, something is happening. Something is afoot here. And then when you have something that no one would have foreseen, like a COVID-19 that takes place, where everybody is now forced into their homes and having to utilize a digital platform, and then it blows up. But you brought up some other great points that people have maybe seen or heard some of these things like retail arbitrage. Oh, what's that? You know, or then what you were doing is that you was just starting to advertise on the platform, because I don't think people understand what Amazon truly is. And I'm sure you help us understand how they operate as a business fundamentally, because Amazon doesn't necessarily make things, or they don't make everything. They are a retail center. Help us understand just the platform itself.
Sure. Well, there's still a lot of different pieces that go into the platform. Obviously, we starting with the selling aspects, you know, you have third party, you have one party. Third party sellers are essentially you and me. We have our own brand. We want to sell directly to consumers. We can launch on the platform, sell our products. One party brands would be an established brand like Johnson & Johnson. Amazon wants to buy Johnson & Johnson's products and sell the products themselves, and they're going to make the markup on the, or they're going to make the spread on the markup from the retail price and from the wholesale price. That is the fundamentals of how products are sold on the platform. Now, when we look at the platform itself, where Amazon really makes its money is from the advertising. So Amazon as a platform is a search engine. It's the same as Google. Google makes all of its money from advertising. Amazon makes the majority of its money from advertising. So that is exactly like how the platform works. It's, you're a seller. You want to get on here. You're competing against other sellers to get visibility. You're going to pay for advertising. The advertising dollars are going to increase the visibility of your product. It's going to lead to sales. It's going to make Amazon money, and everyone wins. That's essentially at a high level how the platform works.
This is an exciting time to be in digital marketing with the advent, the explosion of generative AI chatbots. They're better known as ChatGPT. There's Bard, there's Claude, there's all kinds of this new one came out called Gemini. There's so many different tools that really what it comes down to is that it's made my business more precise. I can do things more quicker, I would say, and to elevate my brand messaging to a level that allows me to be as creative as possible. Digital market economy is taking the world by storm. probably over the last decade or so, but is really escalating now in the advent of AI because it is a game changer for a lot of businesses. It's not just all the big boys that can play in this space because of cloud computing, because of mobile computing, and now you have these tools at your disposal. You've got a laptop, you've got a computer, you can now digitize yourself to a level and get your message out there, and that equates to business. Ready to build a 5-star brand that stands out and captivates? Discover the art of crafting a strong and memorable brand identity. From choosing the right colors to making your brand unforgettable on social media, we guide you every step of the way. Learn how to design a brand that resonates deeply with your audience, ensuring they not only remember but love your brand. Whether it's enhancing visual appeal or mastering social platforms, we have got you covered. Dive into the world of impactful branding with us and see the difference. Follow the brand for more insights and expert tips. Don't just be seen, be remembered. Join us now. Ready to build a 5-star brand that stands out and captivates? Discover the art of crafting a strong and memorable brand identity. From choosing the right colors to making your brand unforgettable on social media, we guide you every step of the way. Learn how to design a brand that resonates deeply with your audience, ensuring they not only remember but love your brand. Whether it's enhancing visual appeal or mastering social platforms, we have got you covered. Dive into the world of impactful branding with us and see the difference. Follow the brand for more insights and expert tips. Don't just be seen, be remembered. Join us now. Well, this is very interesting again because Amazon, and people may or may not know this, really kind of invented cloud computing, AWS, Amazon Web Services, because they had so much capacity. They said, you know what? We're not always utilizing all this compute power. Why don't we resell it?
Yeah. And AWS is massive now. AWS is I mean, I think that's actually Amazon's number one revenue source. It's that and ads. Those are the two biggest ones.
And I never knew that, to be honest. I'm thinking just the products. Like I go to Amazon, I see something. And another cool thing is that ease of use, that you get the Prime membership and you get it overnighted to you or within a few hours in certain cases. And they got some magic formula in the back. I'm talking about AI, artificial intelligence, how to know what product is going to be in demand in certain areas, going to be able to ship it to you that quickly is miraculous. So let's go back to your business where you say, hey, you know what? We were selling online, we were showing up, and then we start seeing these major brands and you were beating them at their own game on the digital platform. You say, you know what? Here's a business opportunity. Let's teach other businesses how to sell on these platforms. Talk to us more about that.
Yeah. So again, most brands didn't really know how to leverage the platform. So Back then, it was more like you threw your product up and it started selling. If you were looking for Johnson & Johnson shampoo, I'll use them again. It was there, number one. Johnson & Johnson shampoo was the first result that came up because there wasn't that much competition. So the evolution of it was as more competition came into the platform, and it really took off after COVID. It was how do I differentiate or how do I create visibility for my product? Again, comes back to the advertising piece. And where most of these brands were failing is that they weren't doing basic stuff with advertising or basic stuff with managing their catalog on the platform. For example, you're Johnson & Johnson, I'm a third-party seller. You're selling your shampoo. I can buy your shampoo, and this is where the retail arbitrage comes into play, or even buying it at wholesale. I can buy it on discount from Target or whatever, turn around and sell it on Amazon. So there's the arbitrage. I'm buying it cheaper in Target. I'm selling it online. If I can undercut your price on Amazon, my product is going to sell over yours. So these brands were losing sales to these third-party sellers that were arbitraging sales. They were creating duplicate listings. So you have your Johnson & Johnson product. I have my own Johnson & Johnson. I'm going to run ads on mine and I'm going to sell more than you. So, and that's another very good example. On the advertising, they weren't protecting their own brand name. So Johnson & Johnson wasn't even advertising on Johnson & Johnson. So like anyone could come in and advertise in Johnson & Johnson. So everything was just wide open, and there were just massive opportunities for people to start making sales and start growing on the platform. So what we did when we started working with these brands is, all right, let's get control of the platform. Let's figure out where these gaps are. We worked with brands to help them establish MAP agreements, minimum advertised pricing agreements with their resellers. We helped them manage their catalog by consolidating these duplicate listings and making sure there was only one listing on the platform. We helped them take control of their advertising and their brand name by making sure that they were showing up whenever someone searched for their brand. It was them showing up. It wasn't anyone else. And that's really how we started helping these brands get market share back. And just from that alone, we were seeing growth of 20% per month for a lot of these brands. So we were increasing sales. They were getting more visibility on the platform. It was leading to more sales. Obviously, more people are coming to Amazon during this time as well. So more and more people are buying. It's just a win-win for everyone at that point.
So your ideal client, I want to understand AMZ's, brand persona. Like, who do you go after? Who's the client that you just salivate over? You just love to see some of them coming through the door.
Ideally, for us, we love clients that are doing like $5 million or more online or on Amazon already, because that means they have the advertising budgets to start scaling. And when we see those brands come through, we're like, all right, let's go. That's like our sweet spot. We know we're going to get you from 5 to doing probably more than 20 million on the Amazon platform in less than a year. And it's all a matter of just taking that advertising budget and deploying it in the right ways to maximize visibility, to increase conversions, to drive more brand awareness for our product, increase consideration against our competitors, find people that are in market. We're doing all of that stuff with the advertising budget to just put your brand out there and everywhere so that anyone looking online is going to find it.
So if I'm the chief marketing officer of a major brand, or say like a $5 to $10 million company, that's a nice mid-sized company. How do I know that I need you? I'm already doing marketing. I'm already on Amazon, let's say. I have a decent amount of return. How do I know, or maybe I don't know, that I truly need you?
That's a very good question. And I think it really comes down to what your internal capabilities are. I mean, I think in that mid-range area right there, it's still difficult to hire a full team in-house to manage everything. I mean, when we look at what's required for Amazon, you need people managing the catalog. You need people managing customer service. You need people managing support cases. You need people managing advertising, graphic design, copywriting. All of these things need to be pulled together. And that's where a lot of companies that are in that range are like, well, I can either hire for all of this or I can use an agency. And typically going the agency route is where you're leveraging the knowledge of everyone. I mean, at this point, our company's worked with 500 brands. We have I think 15 account managers, 4 strategists, and I think 7 or 8 advertisers on our team right now. And all of that knowledge and all of that experience is something we can leverage. It's like, all right, here's the problem. How do we deal with this problem? We ask it out, throw it out there into the team until we find a solution, and then we actually move forward. So you're getting the benefit of not needing to hire all these people internally, but also leveraging all the knowledge that we have internally already.
Man, now I get that. It makes perfect sense. It's the same way Yeah, I could probably build a house if I had all the materials, but I've never built a house. And I'm sure that house is not going to look like the one on the brochure after I got done. So I need to go find somebody who's built a lot of houses, has the wherewithal, the credibility, and the all the permits and licensing and what's necessary to make it work, and then pay me on my premium. And there's a pretty good ROI because you've got on your tagline. And I went to your LinkedIn. It says, "I'm going to take you to 1 million to 10 million." I mean, that's a big stretch. Give us a success story. Tell us a story about somebody who came to you and you were able to 10x their business.
Yeah, so we have plenty of these, but I'll talk about one that's one of my favorite examples. We started working. This is probably back. This client's been with us for about 7 years at this point. We started working with them. I guess it was 2017, 2018 at that point. And they sell a child educational product. They were launching on the platform for the first time. They were doing a couple $1,000s a month. It wasn't that much. Within 3 months, we had them doing 30,000. Within 6 months, we had them doing about 70,000. And at this point, the brand owner was like, I'm doing well. I'm almost doing $1 million run rate right now. I'm going to do this on my own. And this is where the brands make most mistakes. She ended up leaving. Her sales went back down to about 35,000. We're hanging out around there. And she came back to us, was like, all right, I can't do this. I need your help. And we continue to work with her. We're still working with her to this day, but over the next few years, we took her from about that $35,000 mark when she came back to us to during the height of COVID, we were doing about $400,000 a month. So that was, 10x right there. That was an incredible experience. And it's also great to have that working relationship. We've been together for so long, and for her to continue to see that success over 7 years is massive for us.
The way to brand is, and it's a leadership conversation. It's not a marketing thing. And ultimately, it starts with, what is your purpose? So I'm very much a humanist. I cut through the bullshit, and I'm about branding by using language that excites and engages people. Branding's about people. And so I call myself the brand guy for that exact reason, to kind of take it off its pedestal and to make it something that's real and accessible and understandable and relatable by everybody.
Branding has got to play a key role here, because if you have an enormous effort, it consists of grants, volunteering, energy goals, ESG reports. All that is impossible to communicate. And so what you need is branded signature programs, and to carry the flag, to communicate what you do, to inspire, to guide. there's another brand involved. You got to use these signature brands to enhance the business by building the business brand, by giving it an energy lift, an image lift, and an engagement lift. And when you do that, the business now can view your program, whether it's internal or external. You can move your program as a partner, something that doesn't have to justify its funding each year, something that's really going to become part of your business strategy, and therefore it will grow and thrive and be more healthy in a long term.
Grant McGaw, CEO of 5-Star BDM, is turning heads in the healthcare and information technology sectors with his groundbreaking approach to personal branding and business development. By challenging conventional strategies, he's setting a new standard for how executives present themselves and their businesses to the world. McGaw's expertise isn't just about standing out. It's about strategic guidance, generating leads, and building networks that propel executives beyond their competition. His focus on authenticity allows leaders to leverage their unique stories, driving exponential growth and success in their industries. Beyond branding, McGaw is a fervent advocate for diversity, equity, and inclusion in the workplace. He's committed to helping organizations cultivate environments where innovation and collaboration thrive through inclusive cultures. And for those eager to dive deeper, McGaw hosts the Follow the Brand podcast. Here, he unpacks the intricacies of personal branding and business growth, offering valuable insights for professionals eager to redefine their identities and share their narratives with the world.
Well, that's proof. It's all about proof of work. And when you see it, it's there. She probably had other problems at that. Like, you got to keep inventory, right? Like Mike just keeps selling all her stuff. You got to keep it in house. That's why all these Amazon warehouses are all over these other cities, right? Instead of some of these retail places.
It's one of the best compliments we get, and we get it frequently, is like, hey, we're selling too much. We don't have enough inventory, and that's how we know we're doing our job. It's like, if you can't keep up with it, it means that we're killing it on the marketing side.
So talk to us about, I'm not, Mike, I'm starting out. I don't have a lot of sales. I understand that this is a way, just like in traditional way of opening a business. You're a startup, or maybe you've been in business a couple of years. And traditionally you would, obviously you'll get a brick and mortar location. You would do some traditional advertising, maybe take out some radio, TV ads. And that was the old model. Now you got to come to the digital platform. And like these big brands are, there's a lot of people still not savvy in the digital e-commerce world. And they're like, I think I know what I'm doing. I'm throwing a bunch of stuff out on social media. I've got a couple of pages. I got a Spotify or Shopify. I see Amazon. I help me understand how to get going and generate some income.
It's interesting because you mentioned a lot of different examples there, and we've worked with companies doing millions with 2 people, and we've worked with multi-billion-dollar companies, and we're frequently amazed that some of these companies are actually able to achieve the success that they are seeing. But anyone can pretty much come onto the platform, and it really depends on how much time you're willing to invest and really setting up the fundamentals. So when we start talking about what are the fundamentals, it starts with the product itself. You have to make sure you have a really good product. You have to make sure that your manufacturer is reliable, that can deliver the product on time. You don't want to be getting bad reviews once your product goes live. That's the big thing. That's going to kill your product. If your product is not good, the customers are going to find out quickly. So there's number one. Let's focus on that. Number two, we need to get our listing set up on Amazon. So we're going to focus on SEO here, and we're going to focus on graphic design. SEO, we want to find the main keywords for our product, put them in our product title, bullet points, and description, and then the rest will go in the keyword section on the back end. That's going to help us rank for stuff and help people find us. And then when we look at imagery or graphic design, we really want to focus on two different aspects. The first one is your main image. Your main image, you want to take as much of the white space up as possible. You might even want to get creative with your with your design on there to feature, an example of what the product looks like inside the packaging, outside, just so the customer can understand. That's going to drive click-through rates, and that's going to help drive conversion. So when you're looking at a search result, if you see a picture that looks good, you're more likely to click it and go to the page, and that's going to help, keep the process going. So that's important. When someone gets to the page, the rest of the images, they need to be actually highlight how your product benefits the consumer or what problem it solves for the consumer. So you really want to focus on using the imagery to explain that with text overlays, with examples, with a variety of different features or benefits, whatever it may be. But really focus on how your product is benefiting the consumer or how it's solving their problem. That's much more important than what your product features are. That's going to lead to conversion. So, we've built our fundamentals with that. Now we have our product, we have our listings looking good. Next piece is fulfillment. How are we actually going to fulfill these orders? Amazon FBA. There you go. You are going to send your product to Amazon's own warehouses. And then because of that, you're going to get the Prime badge. So your product is going to be Prime. It's going to improve conversions. It's going to increase visibility on the platform. Amazon will handle the customer service. It takes a lot off of your plate. So that's the benefit of that. And then from there, after you've established that piece, is where you really start the marketing. And that's where you're going to focus, bottom of the funnel. How do I convert people? How do I find people that are ready to purchase my product and actually get them to buy it? So that's the fundamental piece for anyone starting. But again, you kind of got to make sure you follow all these steps. You really can't skip along, or otherwise you're going to run into problems at some point down the road.
I like how you just said those are the blocking and tackling. It still comes down to the fundamentals, but you're doing it in a different way on the digital. And if you're not savvy, that's just why you're hired. So when you need to understand it, so you're not just pouring out money, you don't know what you're spending and all, you need to understand it. But once you start seeing it actually operate and understand why you need to spend money on your SEO, why you need to spend money on imagery, I wanted to ask you, because you've been in this game for a while, what is some of the biggest trends that you're seeing now with advertisers and retailers on the platform that wasn't in the past, but you're seeing it now and it's gaining traction?
One of the most interesting things that we're seeing is people actually using off-platform resources to drive traffic on platform. So there's a few different reasons brands would want to do this. The first one is that I think it's about 70% of all online product searches start on Amazon. So if someone's searching for a product, they're going to Amazon to look for it. So that's phenomenal. Let's use that information. How do we maximize our visibility now? So when we look at how we maximize our visibility, we have to look at the Amazon ranking algorithm. It's different than Google. Amazon takes two main factors into consideration. One would be your conversion rates. How frequently do people buy your product when they hit your page? And the other one is sales velocity, we like to call it, or how long have you been converting people at this rate, essentially? So if you've been doing it for 1 week, great. Have you been doing it for 1 month? Even better. Have you been doing it for 1 year? Phenomenal. All of that is going to help you rank higher in search results. So what we see now is a lot of brands want to push more and more traffic to Amazon to maximize that visibility and drive more conversions. So for example, TikTok is a great way to drive traffic to Amazon. Other social media channels are working really well. Affiliate marketing, public relations. There's a variety of different ways to acquire that traffic, but by getting them to Amazon, it's giving you a lot of control. Now they're purchasing the product on Amazon, or at least they're within the funnel. We can retarget them with advertising on Amazon. We can retarget them off platform now with advertising. So it's like once they hit the page, it kind of opens up all the doors. So why not push as much traffic to Amazon? And that's something that brands weren't doing even 2 years ago. That's something that a lot of brands have shifted their focus to now.
See, there's some insight that everyone is getting. We're not going to charge you today, but I do encourage you to seek out Mike and AMZ Advisors. There's no doubt about it. He has the knowledge. He has the wisdom. He is making people millionaires overnight. I think that's great. We had talked about a story earlier. We were talking about, and I told Mike this story about how you've got to put in the work before you see the results. And a lot of times people think, it's just overnight and it just happens. And you've got to put in the required amount of help people understand what it takes to get to where the end goal would be, let's say if it's a 10x and that type of thing.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of work that goes into it. Obviously, we talked about the fundamentals there and the basics, but I think the bigger thing that most brands don't consider is that, or most sellers don't consider, is that you need to build a brand. You can sell random products, but that has no benefit in the long term. You want to be able to establish a brand that's going to have value. That's how you're actually going to increase the value over time. And that's how you're going to keep customers coming back and searching for your product. So brand building, I'm not an expert per se in brand building, but it does require a lot of consistency on the platform. It requires your branding looking the same across all your listings. It requires having high quality customer reviews. That is what establishes a brand, because when people find the listing, it looks good. It looks the same as all the other products. Customers love it. And that's really where you start building out a brand on platform, at least. Everything you're doing off platform, I mean, there's a variety of different stuff with social media. We've already talked about that, PR. All of these things are just creating more and more brand awareness, and we can do more advertising on platform to increase that brand awareness. So if you want to scale over time, you really got to focus on the brand. And that takes even more effort than just getting the fundamentals of Amazon set up.
Follow the Brand TV broadcast host, Grant McGaw, as he visits with top executives and entrepreneurs to find out their secrets of success with their personal brand. Follow the Brand TV broadcast host as he focuses on brand development to build better relationships, bring value to your business, relationships, and career. You will enjoy listening to each episode that is tailored to speak to you directly. If you're looking for this type of clarity in terms of building your brand, you have tuned into the right station. Each episode will help you to shape a conversation in the 5-star BDM network of 20,000 professionals and become a springboard for your corporate engagement and business opportunities. Each guest will frame their story in the areas of personal branding, business development, career development, financial empowerment, and technology innovation. Grant McGaw explains why he is the CEO and owner of his own professional career. Grant is an accomplished business leader and entrepreneur who wants to give back to individuals to grow their personal brand strategy. Tune in as he weaves his story about new possibilities, while to you exceed expectations. If you love storytelling, this show will make for fun.
Hello, leaders and visionaries. Are we ready to exceed our ambitious goals for 2024? At 5-Star BDM, we're your strategic partners, not just futurists. To the trailblazers in business development, healthcare, and IT, you need a path to realize your vision for growth. Our tailored consulting services are your stepping stones to success. We empower you to build brands, deliver results, and captivate audiences. In healthcare and IT, innovation is progress. At 5-Star BDM, we ensure your operations beat with precision, efficiency, and care. Join those who shape the future. Connect with us today. Let's set the stage for a defining quarter. With 5-Star BDM, it's not just business development, it's a beacon of excellence.
Ready to elevate your brand and make a lasting impact? Dive into the world of the Follow brand where insights meet action. Shop now at our e-commerce store for exclusive merchandise that speaks to you. Transform, engage, and soar with 5-Star BDM. Your journey to brand brilliance begins today. Well, you're speaking my language right there on the Follow Brand Show. Brand awareness is king. And understanding that that brand awareness is occurring on the digital platform at a higher velocity than any other way. Word of mouth is still king. People say, hey, you know what? Follow Brand is a great podcast. You need to listen to it. And that's how people will tune in. They'll search for it, on Google and all the other platforms, and they come to it, and then they'll have a conversation. And because I've built that brand, now they'll see like, wow, you know what? I am interested in e-commerce and business development. And now you've got a great show. You've got great information, great not only from a technical standpoint, but from the fundamental things that you need to succeed to someone who's already doing these things. I would like you to talk to us. I'm giving you the mic, Mike.
Okay.
Of all the things we just talked about, what are some things that you feel are very, very important that people need to know about your brand?
About my brand. Oh, okay. That's a good one. That actually was a little bit of a curveball. Uh, Look, I think the fundamental things to understand is that we have established ourselves within the space, and it's hard for people to see from the outside. But when we look at what happened with COVID, what's happened over the years, Amazon consultants popped up out of everywhere. COVID came, most of them consolidated and went to other companies. There's only a few companies that are our size in the space, and that's because we're so good at what we do. We show our value by actually putting out work and by putting out content. So obviously we do a great job on the work that we're producing for our clients. We try to share that through case studies. We try to increase visibility that way. But from marketing and content marketing is really where we help other people even know we exist. And we do that in a variety of different ways: webinars, podcasts like today, blog content, social media content, all of the partnerships. That's another great one. All of these are helping us maximize visibility and get the word out there about what our brand does. And that's really what we focus on. And I think that's the most important thing for any company to focus on.
Well, I think you've also done a great job with word of mouth. I mean, all of a sudden you see your neighbor that used to, be in a station wagon, and now they're running around, in a Rolls Royce. You're like, what happened? He's like, oh, you got to talk to Mike at AMZ. I don't know what you're doing, but I talk to Mike. You talk to Mike. So tell me.
It's happened many times. I mean, there's plenty of brands that we've started working with that go from 0 to $1 million run rate within 2 months, and it's crazy when that happens. Mainly because they can't keep up with demand, but it's just awesome to see the results for us because it just means that what we're doing is working.
And help people understand, like, all right, you know what? Yeah, it's saturated. It's like, I'm going to build another Walmart, building next to Walmart. Help people understand the market potential that still exists on Amazon.
There's always potential, and it's actually interesting. There was a study that came out a few months ago. When you look at how long a number one bestseller stays number one on Amazon, the average lifespan is less than 7 years. So when we look at that, brands are constantly cycling through the platform for a variety of different reasons. Part of it being competition, part of it being challenges with the platform. But it means that there's always the potential to become the next best-selling product on Amazon. And because of that, that's why you really need to invest. If you're going to maximize your visibility, if you're going to be there, if you want to be competing, you need to be competing against everybody else. I mean, there's plenty of niches that still exist with Amazon for brands to come in and focus and sell on. But the real big thing is, like, how does Amazon fit into your bigger idea of what you're trying to sell online? So, like, if you have your own Shopify store, or if you're selling through Walmart or eBay, some other platform, it's probably worthwhile building an Amazon channel just to acquire customers and then try to push those customers to other places, because you don't need to become 100% reliant on Amazon. There's plenty of brands that have become multi-million-dollar brands through all of these other channels, and then they come to Amazon and just switch it on and it starts selling. So there's a variety of different things you need to consider. It's yes, it's crowded. Yes, it's going to cost money to compete, but the reason it costs money to compete is because there's so many people looking for products on the platform.
Very well stated. And how do we get in touch with you to get a consultation?
The best way to get in touch with me is my email, mike@amzadvisors.com. You can also reach out to me through the website, amzadvisors.com. And then finally, you can find me on LinkedIn. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, any of those platforms. You can send me a message, and I'm glad to speak with you and see if there's any way I can help.
Well, I tell you, this has been wonderful. I am intrigued by your story. We need everyone to understand that, and I talked to this a lot, that a lot of the wealth that has been created in the world has only been created in the last 10, maybe 15 years, let's just say, but it didn't go back hundreds of years, or 50 years ago, or 20 years ago, like this, because of new platforms. And we got to remember this: artificial intelligence is a major game changer, and he who knows how to leverage it to its fullest will be majorly successful. So before we leave, I want you to answer this, because you were at the beginning seeing how e-commerce has morphed and changed and become, and you've ridden this Amazon wave. Now with this AI engine being more not just in the hands of the Fortune 500 companies, but in the hands of the everyday consumer, how do you see this changing?
It's very interesting. So from our side, I mean, the easiest thing where we see a change coming is that the actual search algorithm on Amazon is slightly changing to more of an AI focus, which is interesting. So it adjusts some certain things that we need to do with our listings. But when it comes to e-commerce in general, I think the biggest thing we're going to see is that once AI has the capability of going online, which is scary to think of, it's going to lead to the way that people actually search for products. People might not be searching for products on Amazon anymore. They might be searching for products through ChatGPT. Hey, what's the best rated, I don't know, shampoo on Amazon right now? Here it is. Here's the link. Buy now. Boom. Like the impacts on search and the impacts on the way that products show up online is probably going to be profound from the changes within AI. But the way that brands market and the way that brands advertise is also going to be drastically impacted. So your advertising should hopefully get more efficient when you have AI in it. The content you're producing, you should be able to produce a higher volume of content to reach people. I think that's really where like the two main levers are going to come from the marketing side and the e-commerce side. But AI is constantly changing quickly. I mean, on our side, we're constantly implementing AI in new forms. I've launched like 3 new AI tools this week alone. So it's been pretty awesome seeing it coming, and like it's exciting for me because I just see the way that it's improving our efficiency and improving our results.
Well, I see you using the same formula that you did years ago as you saw the changes in retail and got on board with e-commerce. Now you have an AI-enabled e-commerce engine that, like you said, search and social could change dramatically. And having that precision with AI, which is an intelligent technology. I always tell my audience, we're moving from information technology to intelligent technology. And this is a fundamental game changer and will radically change the business landscape. It should make it better, but if you don't know how to talk to it, just the same way we're talking, if you don't know how to build SEO, and SEO has been around for a while, like what's that? Search engine optimization. And because you needed to know how to talk to Google. If you don't know how to talk to Google, you don't rank in those, you don't get those 10 blue lines that come up, the links that come up, right? But now that's changed. You see AI is changing how Google is going to market. Like, hey, you know what? Hey, we better get on board with this. And knowing how this automation, this audio automation that's taking place, visual automation that's taking place, and then can it, and this is where we're going to get to, where hopefully we'll get to that, where the AI is not so biased, that it's unbiased, can actually look at 3 different products and say, you know what, this one's better. It's more expensive possibly, but it's better in your use case, and here's why. And then boom, you've got it. So it's not all those other reasons that used to be why you go to Amazon, you see the links and you're like, oh, that looks good, and you click on it. Now you've got more intelligence that's taking place.
Yeah, and you bring up a really interesting point about bias, and bias is going to be, I think, much more challenging to eliminate from AI than it will be from people, because AI is just trained on what's out there. So the more voices you have on a certain side versus another, it's going to adjust that and change that bias. So that's an interesting challenge, and it's interesting to see how companies are going to deal with that.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. But this has been wonderful, Mike. I want to encourage your entire audience to go ahead and listen to all the episodes on Follow the Brand. That's at 5, the number 5 star BDM. That's B for brand, D for development, Informationals.com. There you're going to have about 160 experts like Mike talking about all kinds of things, from technology innovation to business and career development to financial empowerment to all kinds of other things, especially executive presence. And I think, Mike, you have executive presence at a high level, and I really like what you're doing. I'm glad you're being so successful. Thank you for being a guest on the show.
Grant, thank you for having me. It's been great chatting with you.
You're welcome.
Man, who's your favorite podcaster? Man, Grant, man. I love Grant's podcast. Well, who's Grant? I'm going to send you the link. I love Grant.
The 5-star BDM LinkedIn social selling course can help you stand out and attract the right connections and opportunities. We will help you professionally create your profile, provide personalized recommendations for improvement, and help you create and share engaging content to help you showcase your skills and expertise. Our 5-step course makes connecting with industry experts, finding job opportunities, and building meaningful relationships easy. Social selling can be an effective way for you to generate leads and close deals, but it does have its challenges. Our course will help you solve the problems associated with digital networking. If you need help personalizing your outreach and messaging, which can lead to low response rates and a lack of engagement. If you need help targeting the right prospects, this course is for you. With so much noise on social media, it can be challenging to cut through the clutter and get your message in front of the right people. Our course will personalize your messaging using our targeting tools and research. You can identify and reach the right prospects. We will also show how to deliver high quality, valuable content that attracts and engages prospects and clients. The 5-star BDM LinkedIn social selling course will address these challenges by implementing best practices. As a result, you can improve your social selling efforts and generate better results. Are you looking to improve your LinkedIn profile and reach a wider audience? Social selling is an effective way for you to generate leads and close deals, but it does have its challenges. Some common problems we saw with social selling include lack of visibility. If your profile is not optimized or you're not actively participating in groups or sharing content, it can be difficult to get noticed on LinkedIn. Number 2, lack of personalization. Some businesses struggle with personalizing their outreach and messaging, which can lead to low response rates and a lack of engagement. Also, difficulty targeting the right prospects. It can be difficult to identify and target the right prospects on social media, especially if you don't have access to robust targeting tools. And number 4, outdated content. If your LinkedIn profile or content is not up to date, it can give the impression that you're not actively engaged on the platform or that your skills and experience are not current. And lastly, poor quality content and not leveraging video and picture to convey ideas. To solve these problems, the 5-star BDM LinkedIn Optimization Social Selling Video course will help you focus on personalizing your outreach and messaging to better connect with prospects. In module number 1, the foundation, we will help you create high quality, valuable profile that will attract and engage. In module 2, the story, optimizing your LinkedIn profile to make sure it is complete, accurate, and visually appealing. In module number 3, the experience, using your targeting tools and research to identify and reach out to the right prospects. In module number 4, engagement, establishing a consistent follow-up process to nurture leads and build relationships over time. And lastly, in number 5, execution. Understand the metrics to help you measure your brand effectiveness. By addressing these challenges and implementing best practices, you will improve your social selling with the 5-star BDM LinkedIn Optimization Social Selling course. Listen to what others have said about 5-star BDM.
Grant, I'll tell you why I'm here, right? I'm here because I love your brand. When we started chatting on LinkedIn, we connected. I checked you out and I go, man, this guy knows what he's talking about.
You were definitely instrumental in helping to shape that knowledge of who I am. Because at first I thought, well, I am an actress. I am a writer. I am a producer. I am a speaker. And so I said, well, I must be a creative communicator. I know that there is a narrative thread here, but you nailed it when you said you are a storyteller. So you brought it all together in this cohesive title.
Sign up today to improve your social